Here we go. One more day, parawinging. Still coming down from the highs of yesterday. Did a 6K run on an 85 leaderboard, which was absolutely incredible. Like, you know, getting to that point as quick as it happened was a surprise to me. And big shout out to the people that like put comments on the videos that I posted, putting some ideas on what to do to make it easier. That helped so much. And going out on the 85 leaderboard was a game changer. Like, doing a downwinder on an 85 leaderboard, easier to carve, easier to get out of holes when you know make a bad decision, easier to pump. It felt incredible. It felt exactly what downwinding should feel like. And I was amazed at how quickly you know, you were able to get there. And I think now if I were to start on the downwinding journey and wanting to get into downwinding, I would really consider, instead of and having a winging background, right? I think it's essential for the parawing to have some sort of winging background. Less kiting background, more winging background. But if I was a winger and I would be looking into getting into downwinders, instead of buying a paddle, instead of buying a downwinding board, I would keep my existing wing board, whatever it is that you're comfortable with, and get a parawing. I think it's so much closer to what you already know how to do and what you already know what to do, that your progression would be so much quicker. You know, wingers know how to balance on the board, so you don't have to go through that phase of learning how to balance with a paddle. You have the pendulum on your hand or on your harness, and it comes very naturally if you already wing. So I think this will get a lot of people who wing and were put off by big boards and learning how to paddle. It will get them into downwinding. And it will be a fast progression for people who know how to wing. So there's my tip for the wingers out there. Today, we've got wind again. So it's gonna be like consecutive days of parawinging. Third session today, and I don't have anyone to drive me back up wind. So yesterday I was lucky that Maddie, from our downwinding group, he was already down at Mordialloc. He was doing some winging there, and he waited for me to arrive on the parawing to drive me back up. So thank you, Maddie. Today there's no one in the chat that's really active, so what I think I'll do is I'll stop wherever I think, you know, I'll get a good angle for the wind, and I'm gonna try to do a upwind and downwind. So very, very similar to, you know, what we all do with the wing and do, you know, wing deflate. I'm going to try to do that on the parawing. And what I want to actually measure here and compare is how much upwind angle am I able to get compared to being on the wing. And I know it's going to be a little bit more challenging because the parawing, it basically has an on and off button, and unlike the wing, it's very hard to depower. That thing is always on the power zone, always in front of you, and we don't have the ability like we do on the wing to release the backhand and have, you know, the wing at an angle with the wind to make it a little bit, you know, easier and less powerful on the hand. So we'll see, and I'm gonna try to compare my tracks on Strava or Garmin, on the Garmin app or whatever, to show upwind angles and compare upwind angles on the wing and on the parawing. So that's what we're gonna try to do today. Heading to the beach now. Let's see what the wind's doing. Here we go, point check. We got similar conditions to yesterday, but a different direction. We got a west-northwest today, which will be great to test upwind ability of the parawing. This is a pretty much onshore wind. I mean, a westerly would be onshore here, but a west-northwest is pretty onshore. So it will be good to see how much upwind ability we have with the parawing. I'm going to be trying potentially a smaller foil as well. I'm going to chuck on the 850S, chuck on a smaller tail as well, the 135 R, I think it is. I'm still getting acquainted with all the code stuff, and I think that'll just help me go upwind. But also I want to test, you know, what kind of foils I can get up on the Parawing. So 850S, 135R, and I will go upwind for 30 minutes or so, which is kind of like if you think about having a session, right? People go out for an hour and a half, and that's what wingers rave about. Oh, I just want to be able to go out and do a session. Well, if you are able to do 30 minutes upwind, how much downwind time do you get, right? And that also equates sometimes to the shuttling. You know, shuttling may take a little bit longer than that, but still, I'm going to go up for 30 minutes, see where I get to, and then go downwind. Cool, this is the rig for today. Then we're going to go again with the 80 mast, the 85 liter board. We chucked on the 850 today, see how that goes, and the 135R. I also changed the leash. So this leash here is an ankle leash, a knee leash. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Cool, we got good wind today. So we've got maybe 20 to 24 knots right now. So I think gusting a little bit over that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how much wind I can hold in this 4 meter. But again, launch, I'm not going to film this because it's boring, but I'm going to go upwind for 30 minutes, see where I can get to, and then drop the Parawing and come downwind and see what that 30-minute upwind time will give us in terms of distance. Super big squall now. Very hard to hold the Parawing. I had to eject. You can see the squall coming in there. I'm gonna maybe just wait this one out because it's impossible to fly this right now. I'm just getting blown downwind. So I'll try to get an exit here. There's a little spot that we can get out before drifting too much downwind and start again. Whew. Got absolutely hammered on that one. It was easy 30 knots. So I was completely overfoiled. Sorry, overpowered on the Parawing. The 4 meter, oh look, up to 25 knots, I think it's okay. Anything over that, mate, you're pushing your luck, especially going upwind. Going downwind, no issue, because you can take pressure from the Parawing going downwind. Every time you go towards the Parawing, you lose power. So going downwind is no issue. Today the goal was to see if I could go upwind and then do a little downwinder, but I'll show you the conditions now. It absolutely turned on. Plus there was a squall that came through, so it might normalize. Completely turned on. It is freaking howling. I'll see if I can get a ride back. I need this. So the upwinder downwinder attempt was a massive fail. I was very unfortunate to get a super strong squall of wind, and fuck man, it was like 35 knots of wind, and the 4 meter is way too much for that kind of wind. So we know our limits now, I guess, and what we can do with the 4. But the good news is we got some people on the way for a downwinder. So Perry's gonna jump on and do a downwinder from Ricketts to Parkdale. So it's a short one, probably like 4K, not even that. So it'll be good to get out. We're still gonna have a session, and I'm still gonna try the 850 if conditions continue the way they are, because it's very inconsistent right now. It's back to 20 knots, and you know, it was 30 like 10 minutes ago. So it's a bit like one of those really stormy days that it's a bit of a question mark what's going to happen. So let's just do a downwinder, no upwinder today. Whew, conditions are getting gnarly and gnarly. That point over there is that point that I do the checks. So that's where I was. Came out of Parkdale now to wait for Perry. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of rain now, but the bumps are there, and you know, it's just a matter of how overpowered I'm going to be on this thing now. It's roaring, absolutely roaring now. So we'll see. Round 2 with the pin dog. Ew. Let's try to stash it today. Completely the Parawing is stashed now. Oh, have to be
big save there. All right. Oh. Fuck, this is where I got to, but it got messy. Started to come out. Let's try it again. Reset. All right, slow it down. We can try to go up under it. It's very light now again. Whew. Look at this. Let's get surfy. We can get off now. Let's enjoy it. and over. Yes. Let's try to stash it. I want to practice this on the go. This is a very short run, so I gotta make the most of it. Up and over. Alright, we're good. Yeah, okay. Okay, getting stashed a little bit better. Here goes the R. And it's okay. It's totally okay. Just needs a little practice. Okay. Hands free. It's not the best stash in the world, but it'll do for today. Fuck that again. Trying to fight bear though. Excuse me. Okay, where are we here? Leading edge. How does that look? Like a dog giraffe fist. Okay. That's it. Oh, this is probably the worst tangle I've had so far. Let's see if you can get it figured out. So when it's really bad, I just try to find the leading edge and then go from there. So there's one. Just pulling it up. It was just tangled. The whole Parawing was tangled. There you go. I hope. Okay. There you go. Fly, eh? Alright, you got the massive tangle there. Got rid of that. That should be it. Yeah. It's coming. It's coming. There's a little bit of water still on it. Let's get rid of it. There you go. There you go. Alright, that was the hardest tangle I've had on it so far, and it was because of how I stashed it. So I didn't do a good job of putting it back into the pouch. It's not tangled anymore. The wind is just really weird today. Here you go. It doesn't want to. There you go. Here we go.
The good thing now is that I know what I have to feel on my hands in order to have enough power to get up. So right now I'm not even trying because the wind just blasted off of it. So I'm just gonna head out back out again so I can cut back in, have a longer run. So I know what I need to feel on this Parawing for it to be able to pick me up. So getting a little bit more in tune with it, which feels great. It feels freaking awesome.
I need a good gust now. Come on. Good little gust. Good gust. There you go. Let's ride down a little bit
Towards Perry. It got really light now. But I feel a lot more comfortable with the Parawing. I'm not hooked in at the moment.
and it feels okay because it's very light.
And man, this is definitely something. Definitely something.
Let's see if we can get a good one in. There's Sherry. He dropped. Woo! Yes! Woo! Is he up? Is he up? Ah! Oh shit, there's nothing here. Alright, let's ride it in. Call it a day.
Some good winds today though. There was getting up on the 850 with the 135 tail. That's like as small as I will downwind at my level. And then doing this little downwinder again. I was expecting more since like yesterday we had an awesome one. but the wind is just not there. So we've understood the maximum that we can get out on the Parawing, the 4 meter one, and that's going to be around that, what, 25 knots, you know, maxing 28. Like if it's getting into 30, you're cooked. If you're going downwind, you're fine. And this is all talking about going upwind. Going upwind, we still have to crack that code, but I think it will really be condition dependent. Has to be perfect conditions for that. All right, heading back now after the second session. Tough day today. The wind was all over the place. I'm gonna try to put a wind graph of what was happening today, because God, it was 20 knots when I went out on the first session. Felt perfect on the Parawing. 20 knots is amazing on that 4. It's like the sweet spot. But then I was trying to do the upwind downwind thing, and all of a sudden it shot up to like 30-35 knots, and it almost felt scary to be on that 4 meter Maliko. It was so powered. But there is a little exit out of Ricketts that we actually go down there sometimes to launch and go downwind. So I was able to come in through there and it was fine. But I couldn't do the upwind downwind test, and I think it's also a failure that kind of tells us, you know, if you're overpowered, you're not going to be going upwind. And the Maliko has a very small range. It's not like a wing or a kite that you have the kite you have the throw of the bar, and you know, you're depowering the rear lines as you do that, and you're able to let go of a little bit of that pressure. And the wing, it's a similar thing, but it's with your back hand, and you can, you know, ride it a little bit out, and then you don't have as much power on the wing. But I could not hold that 4 meters in over 25 knots. I think 25 and, you know, up to maybe 27, 28 could be all right, like if it's gusting that much. But, you know, anything more than that is way too strong, and almost impossible to go upwind. So if you're buying the Maliko to do upwind downwinds, just bear in mind that the window that it operates well in to do a proper upwind angle is not that big. So keep that in mind. And then the second run, well, the second run was a little bit weird, because again, it started with 20 knots and it was fine, and then it just kind of glassed off in the middle of the run. And I was really practicing stowing the Parawing for the first time, so it was really good for that. It's funny because you have as soon as I depower it and bring the lines through my left hand, I chuck the bar under my armpit, and then I start figuring out what I'm doing with my belt. But because I'm wearing the leash, and the belt has the hook, so I have to turn the belt around to the pouch side, and then slowly start to feed the 4 meter in. You can't just put everything in at the same time, because you need to use every little nook of that pouch for the 4 meter to fit properly. So I can understand how some of the guys out there that bought the 5 meter, the 5.1, whatever it is, they're having trouble putting it back into the belt. So when I started doing that, I was very conscious of continue to read the bumps, and try to not lose focus of going downwind. But it takes a little bit of practice. Look, I probably tried 3-4 times stowing it in, so that's good. I did practice on land a little bit, so with the belt, I just simulated putting it into the depower position, and then stowing it into the bag, putting the bar in, and then latching it and all that stuff. And on land, I was using the little loops on the belt for the bar, but out in the water, I was just stuffing everything into the pouch and then trying to use the clip-on. I don't even think I did the clip-ons with those little loops that go around. And then I just kept the pouch on the front. I didn't even turn it around. I didn't even need to have it on my back. I just wanted it on the front, and that was it. But something to built some muscle memory on now. It's definitely not something that, you know, just happens and then you still have to read the bomb. So it's a little bit tricky, but anyway, it was fine. And then it was just fun having Perry around, and he came past, and then we just played around a bit. We almost got up on the same bump. I was coming down one, and then he was paddling up, and I think he said on the way back, he told me, like, I got a little scared there. I didn't know what you were doing. But I was hoping that he would have gone on foil, and that we could have ridden, you know, a wave, a swell together, and that would have been sick. I did buy some Dyneema. So bought this Dyneema and decided to go with, well, I bought a 3 mil and 4 mil. I think I might use the 4 mil. And I bought orange just so it differs a little bit from the lines that are connected to the bar. Just if it tangles, you know what's what. And it was helpful for me to have a gray one. When it was all tangled, I kind of knew what line was what. So I'm gonna do that little upgrade to the bar. I tried the ankle leash for the board, which was very helpful to not have anything else around the waist competing with the belt. But at the same time, something annoying about that leash is that I step on it. As soon as I pop up on the board, I step on the leash all the time, and I hate that. So we'll see. Like, it's something that I might just need to play around with a little more to find the perfect leash. And once I have that, I think, you know, all the gear will be pretty well sorted into where I want it to be. And it's just practice now. It's getting out of the water and practicing more. But good 3 first sessions. I did not expect to have had so much fun on these first 3 sessions as I had. So I'm frothing right now. I'm gonna ride this froth through 4 days of work and hopefully come back next week for a little bit more action.